In this mini leadership course from Paul Robinson, a keynote speaker and best-selling author of high-performance leadership, you will learn how to lead with eco and how can you become an empathic leader. If you manage a team of people, then it's the leadership course that works for you. You're going to learn to be a leader with emotional intelligence. Learn to practice cognitive and emotional empathy in the workplace. Improve your EK skills on the job and become a great teammate.
Leadership, in my opinion, should be viewed as a human experience rather than just calling it as a management skill. We have seen organizations that operate in a mechanistic mindset, viewing employees as cogs in machine. That model, I believe, it is flawed, and it does not work for today's workplaces, especially if you want to create a winning work culture. A leader's job is to make organization more human. It means that leaders know their people more than just knowing them as employees. Leaders must know people beyond their resume. The workplace is a human, emotional, and relational network of people who come together to achieve some specific goals and outcomes. People in the workplaces, like family, have fears. They have insecurities, anxieties, concerns, aspirations, and dreams. Leaders must view organization as a human workplace rather than just calling it technology-driven enterprises. The reason for me to say that is because we focus on systems and processes and neglect the human experience of getting things done. We neglect more of the human side of an enterprise and put more focus on other things like technology, systems, and processes. We often lose sight of our humanity in a technology-driven world. But it is the role of leaders to guide people in an environment of trust and openness. We need to make the workplace more human. Now, how do we do that? The answer is leaders must lead with EQ. You need to lead with empathy. Think about emotionally intelligent leaders. Think of leaders who possess high EQ or emotional quotient. Now, you know there are exceptional leaders who can move people with their words and deeds. They can get unsolicited, unconditional support from their followers. They connect with people at an emotional level, and they have a special bonding with their teammates. I'm talking about leaders with high EQ or emotional quotient. Now, before we get to that, let's understand what is EQ. The textbook definition of EQ is the ability to perceive, control, and evaluate emotions. Now, the term EQ was first popularized by Daniel Goleman, but Michael Baldock, a clinical professor of psychology in psychiatry at Cornell University, was the first person to coin the term way back in 1964. And if you study EQ, you will notice that it is always divided into 4 quadrants. A leader must be aware of the 4 quadrants or the emotional intelligence to really becoming an empathetic leader. Now, self-awareness and self-management are concerned with understanding of oneself and acting in a healthy manner. Understanding others and managing relationships are 2 aspects of social awareness and relationship management. Self-awareness is your ability to accurately perceive and understand your own emotions in the present moment. This is your ability to understand or comprehend what's going on within you. People who have a presence of mind are very good with self-awareness. People who keep a journal or people who record their thoughts are practicing certain levels of habitual self-awareness. In a professional setting, self-awareness provides you inputs about your moods, attitudes, present moment awareness or a sense of presence, or an overall idea of what's going on with you. Self-management is the ability to use your emotional awareness to stay flexible and positively direct your behavior. So if you're good at self-management, then you will be able to identify and control your emotions. You will appropriately express your emotions. You will not allow the temper to get in your way. You're more self-controlling or self-composed as a person. So if you're good at self-management, you have that gift of naming your emotions and taming them without you losing control over it. You can stay cool under pressure. You can manage stressful situations effectively. You will learn to behave appropriately, even if there are people out there who's going to press those buttons, trigger those buttons. You can deal with complexities better, and you will have a control over your tongue and behavior. And the good news is that just like learning any other skill, EQ skills like self-awareness and self-management can be learned and practiced. If self-awareness is about understanding your emotions, then social awareness is the ability to accurately detect emotions in others, comprehend what is really going on with them. Social awareness is your ability to understand others and put yourself in their shoes, which will allow you to truly understand how others feel. You can develop your social awareness skills through two important aspects that are listening and observing. Relationship management is the ability to successfully manage interactions by being aware of your own emotions as well as those of others. Here you know what you feel as well as what others feel. Now, if you're good at relationship management, you can communicate better with people without hurting others. You can connect and bond well with other people. You can resolve any differences and manage conflicts very effectively. All aspects of how we relate to others, what we say, how we say it, what we intend, what we do, and how we behave, all have positive or negative consequences for other people. To develop better EQ skills, you need to improve on your empathetic skills like listening, giving and receiving respect, building rapport, practicing clear communications, among other things. Ultimately, your EQ skills make your human experience more positive with others. Your understanding of others deepens. As a leadership expert, John C. Maxwell says, you don't really know someone until you know what makes them laugh, cry, and dream. As a leader, you must understand three things about your followers. What does your follower dream about? What are their aspirations? Second, what causes them to feel sad? What makes them cry? What makes them unhappy or makes them disengaged at work? And third, what makes them happy? What makes them satisfied and engaged at work? And what motivates them or inspires them to come to work? And when you know these three things, you will know a lot more about them than just being told in their resume. When you understand organizations as a human network, you will respect diversity, you will encourage inclusiveness, will be sensitive to certain cultural differences, will respect everyone, will listen, will empathize, will give people below you a voice to be heard. This will lead to a better human treatment and better work culture. Therefore, the job of a leader is to be responsible for the environment. They set the mood at work. They can instill enthusiasm, inspiration, and zeal to overcome any kind of challenges, or they can have the opposite effect, turning the workplace into a toxic workplace or a stress center. Just like a place that nobody wants to work, but they stick around because they don't have any other option. They don't have any other choice. Leaders are vested with the responsibility to turn things around. And if you're a leader, your number one job is to make sure that everything around you is right and healthy, thriving in the right healthy environment, and the real talents are thriving and growing and delivering results every day. Always remember, leaders are responsible for the environment. Ultimately, the workplace should provide an amazing human experience. It's meant to create a human experience of wow, enthusiasm, a sense of achievement, positivity, resilience, a drive to overcome challenges at any time. As leaders, it's your job to turn the workplace into a human experience. It's not only about the numbers or the bottom line, but it's also about the process that people can enjoy while getting to a destination. And most importantly, it's not just about the journey or the destination, but also about the companions who are sharing that journey with you. Today there's a lot of talk about the importance of empathy and why leaders should lead with empathy. One key reason for the growing importance of empathy for business leaders is the rise of globalization and cultural diversity. Lack of empathy at work can come at a very high cost. Leaders who lack empathy have the potential to destroy an organization from within. Lack of empathy can also mean civil war. Historically, empathy was not used in business, and being ruthless was considered a winning question, but that doesn't work anymore. Today, a lack of empathy can easily build a toxic workplace and a self-sabotaging work culture. But that's not the place where people just want to go work. People want to work where they feel that they are cared for. So if you don't really care about your people, they don't really care about your leadership either. A leader who lacks empathy can be easily identified as a toxic narcissist. People with low empathy are frequently preoccupied with their own needs. You're the polar opposite of empathy when you are disrespectful, interruptive, bullying, making fun of others, and do not listen to others. Furthermore, when empathy is not used, your views and opinions can be one-sided, biased, or fabricated. You do things for your comfort and convenience, and others' needs and concerns are completely ignored or neglected. When you feel lack of empathy, you don't understand what others are saying, or rather, you don't want to understand what others are saying. This leads to confusion and chaos in the workplace, and workplaces can become a source of constant stress and conflict. However, when leaders practice empathy and learn to be more empathetic, the entire environment improves. Empathy is an antidote for avoiding all kinds of interpersonal conflicts. Empathy leads to compassion, improved workplace camaraderie, and improved interpersonal communication. So, what exactly is empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand another person's feelings and emotions and to put yourself in their shoes. Empathy is the ability to understand and relate to another person's motivations, emotions, or experiences. It is one of the 5 key components of EQ, or emotional intelligence, according to Dr. Daniel Goleman, and the most important one in developing and retaining employees. Empathy in leadership is essential for a productive and happy workplace. Leaders must learn to use 2 types of empathy at work. One is cognitive empathy, which means understanding other person's point of view. It's more like the mental point of view, the mental aspect of empathy. And the other is the emotional empathy, or understanding how others feel. If you want to improve your leadership effectiveness, then you must learn to apply cognitive empathy in a variety of situations. You can use cognitive empathy to resolve conflicts, for example, or while you're creating products or services for your customers, you can use cognitive empathy to understand exactly what customers want or what customers' needs are. Cognitive empathy is the ability to recognize, imagine, and understand another person's thoughts and feelings. When we are practicing cognitive empathy, we are practicing taking the perspective of another person. We are imagining ourselves in their situations, and we understand why they feel in a certain way or why they are disappointed with those specific circumstances. Cognitive empathy understands another person's emotions intellectually or cognitively from their point of view. This is more like walking in the shoes of another or stepping into a character, which is a process actors do while they are preparing for a role. Cognitive empathy is ideal for workplaces where you need to understand the concerns and needs of other people and behave accordingly. Cognitive empathy can boost collaboration and decision-making abilities for a leader. But most importantly, cognitive empathy can be used to become a better innovator. Think of this. The ability to understand the perspectives of other people is one of the biggest superpower a leader can gain from practicing cognitive empathy. Consider yourself a leader with multiple point of views, not just one point of view. You can assess problems and challenges differently than others and come up with better solutions. Consider having access to multiple perspectives from other people to arrive at the best possible solution. Imagine yourself having an unrestricted or unlimited access to perspective power, which is the source of many creative ideas leading to many innovations. If everybody thinks alike, nobody is actually thinking. So if you can capture the multiple perspectives of other people, new possibilities can be opened up. But one thing to watch out for is that leaders should represent all their constituents, not only those people whom they or he or she agrees with. I'm talking about selective empathy, or having the downfall of having too many yes men around you, giving you one-sided perspectives. Watch out for selective cognitive empathy. Leaders are more likely to fall victims of selective empathy when practicing cognitive empathy. Now, selective empathy is your natural tendency to agree with people who think similar to you and to egoistically despise people who disagree with you. Now, as humans, we have a tendency to empathize with people who are similar to us. At work, we empathize with colleagues who are similar to us, which may lead to sometimes preferential treatment or favoritism, and this can lead to internal politics and the formation of an organization with a lack of perspectives, especially lack of diverse perspectives. The difficulty with empathy, though, is that it's feeling for people who are different from us and understanding other people's point of view. This means that leaders must pay attention to the voices outside their immediate circle or their inner circle. Most leaders rely on trusted advisors to assist them in their roles as leaders to run their organizations. Leaders frequently choose subordinates who share the same beliefs and value system. While this can be beneficial in so many ways, it can also be problematic when leaders are only given with a limited view of issues and solutions. You got to acknowledge opposing views. Great leaders value opposing viewpoints. They want to know about their options for dealing with the problems and issues. They want to see what the other party thinks, the other side, how they think. So to practice cognitive empathy, you must first respect the viewpoint of other people. Listening to another person's point of view, whether we agree with them or not, it's a sure sign of respect. You need to listen to understand first and not to give counter comments. So when you acknowledge other people's point of views and their perspectives, you demonstrate cognitive empathy. When everyone's point of view is acknowledged, there will be a healthy debate and collective decision making in an organization. Knowledge of opposing viewpoints assists an effective leader in formulating the appropriate response and addressing accurate issues from time to time. Remember, it all starts with the practice of empathy. And to be empathetic, you must look beyond yourself and your own concerns. Remember, the workplace is a diverse group of people with diverse backgrounds and perspectives. There's so much perspective power that you can tap into to build the next great products or services, to improve your customer service, to make the next marketing campaign more successful, and so on. Emotional empathy, on the other hand, is the ability to feel what other people are feeling and to almost mirror those emotions. Emotional empathy is the skill to respond with an appropriate emotion to someone else's thoughts and feelings. This type of empathy helps us to build a better connection with other people. You feel with the other person, you reciprocate the same feeling, and you do help the other person to relax or to recover from a bad feeling. You help the other person to feel better, to return to a positive emotional state. Others can cry on your shoulder. They can confide in you. Others feel that you are part of their support system. That is emotional empathy. Emotional empathy is quite different from sympathy, which is feeling sorry for or pitying another person. While remaining superior, sympathy observes the other person from the outside. Empathy perceives the other person as an equal from within. Some people fake empathy with sympathy. Again, here's the difference. Sympathy observes another person from the outside, and empathy perceives the other person as an equal and as an insider. Real empathy is truly distinguishable. Emotional empathy fosters psychological safety among team members. For example, it's easy to assume that if someone asks you for help at work at a vulnerable point, the employee is clearly, you feel like they are unqualified for a job. However, an empathetic response would be something like this: I understand how you feel. I was in a similar situation when I first started working here. I can connect with what you're feeling or what you're going through. That's emotional empathy. Bottom line, emotional empathy allows you to relate to people in a different level, rather on a deeper level, to think and feel in their shoes. How to be more empathetic at work. Empathy is something that can be learned, even if it is not natural to you. When you learn to initiate a conversation with other people and inquire about their well-being, putting other people in their focus, you're developing some kind of empathy. And this just go beyond the manner of asking people, hey, how are you doing? At work, it's about mutual respect. It's valuing each other's skills, time, and talent, irrespective of their gender or their background. Giving and receiving respect is a strong sign of empathy. Respect. Respect for ourselves guides our morals. Respect for others guides our manners, says Lawrence Stone. Respect is one of humanity's most noble feelings. You owe everyone basic respect for being a fellow human being. It also is true that the highest level of respect must be earned rather than given. So when you show respect to others, you value their being and ideals, you will also make someone else feel good. And when you respect others, they reciprocate the same respect back to you. Listening. Listening to others and feeling what they feel when they express their deep concern is also a sure sign of empathy and respect for another human being. Great leaders are also excellent listeners. Leaders who can listen can communicate better, more effectively with their team members. This encourages a more open and honest exchange of ideas and opinions, as well as the development of trust and respect between a leader and their team. Listening improves communication. And improved communication leads to better collaboration and problem solving, as everyone feels heard and valued and validated. Teams are more engaged and motivated when they feel that their ideas and opinions are being heard and considered by their leaders. They feel good. When a leader pays attention to their employees, the employees feels great. Moreover, listening does the magic of understanding human motivations at work. Leaders who listen to their team members can make more informed and effective decisions. They have access to a wide range of perspectives and ideas, which can lead to more creative solutions and improved outcomes. Moreover, to resolve conflicts and address challenges within an organization, effective listening skills are very much required. Listening is a skill that can be developed if you have the highest regard for another person. You can only respect someone if you value them, and you can only find value in people if you are naturally a humble person, because leaders exercise influence with humility and empathy. I believe humility, or modesty as Jim Collins refers as the fifth level of leadership in his book Good to Great, is truly a hallmark for great leadership. A humble leader listens to what their followers have to say. They have a high level of empathy and are willing to listen without judgment and prejudices. Where there is empathy in the workplace, people are given more priority than just rules and regulations. This can lead to improved communication, greater creativity and innovation, collaborative teams, and better camaraderie between different departments and divisions in an organization. The general understanding would be something like each person is as important as pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, as all roles are respected without being judged superior or inferior. And when all these pieces come together, you have a great place to work. One thing that you must understand is that leadership is not just about you. Leadership is ultimately about other people. It entails inspiring them to go beyond their capabilities and leading them in a compelling and inspiring direction. And empathy is at the heart of those actions. When you improve upon your EQ skills, you are becoming an empathetic leader. What does this mean for your leadership development? Focus on the human experience. Humanize leadership first. Focus on people. Practice a high degree of emotional intelligence. Be empathetic both cognitively and emotionally. And most importantly, become a better listener. The right metaphor would be as low as an ocean so that all the streams of ideas and rivers of perspectives finally come to you. Be that humble ocean that lay low but welcoming everything to flow into it. And finally, become the reservoir of knowledge that can run an enterprise.